still covering the latest developments regarding the genocide, the Israeli genocide war on Gaza, and the famine there, and the dire humanitarian situation there, and events related to the just Palestinian cause, and to Israeli aggressions on in the region as a whole, as we'll also be covering what's happening in Syria and Lebanon. And with us now, live over the phone, is Dr. Moataz Abu Zeid, the Professor of International Law. Thank you very much, Dr. Abu Zeid, for being with us. I wanted to ask you first about Gaza, and where do you see things going? Following the Trump-Kushner-Blair meeting yesterday, are we moving towards the Riviera plan, or are we moving towards the Arab plan, the reconstruction of Gaza, and technocrats taking over in the Strip and Hamas being sidelined? Or are we going to stay in the stalemate, more bloodshed, more Israeli aggression and killing, more famine, and more starvation?
Welcome, dear. Thank you for this introduction. And of course, this topic is a very urgent and significant nowadays. The problem in Gaza and the organized genocide against people there. Of course, it must be mentioned that in historical wise, all these sequences are results of the military aggressions happened in since more than 1 year ago, and of course the sequences of this military aggression, which as you said included many parties and many countries engaged in this military fight, and of course at the end the result is that price paid by people in Gaza in very bad conditions that they are suffering nowadays. Of course, after all this time of military fighting, we had a great result that the only solution now is the diplomatic or the negotiation solution. Of course, as you said, there are many suggested plans, even the one of the American side by President Trump, and of course the Arabian suggestions, and of course the Egyptian role in this situation, which was invited by the political parties in Palestine, and of course Hamas was included in these parties. Of course, either plan can be chosen, or on the other side, the first interest that must be considered is the interest of people, the interest of children, the interest of poor individuals nowadays in Gaza, that they are suffering the lack of nutrition, the lack of medical service, and of course education, and all means of life that they can, that they are, which is forbidden nowadays from this place. So after the first step that we said, we are on, or it's very urgent to have the diplomatic solution or the negotiation solution, and on the other side, either any plan can be chosen for this solution, must consider the interest of the people, and to end this genocide that we are suffering nowadays.
Right. Dr. Abu Zeid, moving over to Lebanon, the United Nations has extended for 1 year the mandate of UNIFIL, the United Nations interim forces in Lebanon. Israel says it won't withdraw from the Lebanese territories it occupies unless Hezbollah laid down their weapons. And there is, of course, this inner, fighting in Lebanon, where some forces want the Lebanese resistance group Hezbollah to give up their arms, and Hezbollah, of course, and their allies inside Lebanon fear that they will, you know, they will be hit anyway, whether they give up their arms or not. And then there is the Iran factor. How do you see the situation? And we might have round two of Israel-Iran war. We might not have round two. But Iran is back now in Lebanon. There, you know, you can see the visits and the talks. And so, how do you see the situation in Lebanon?
The situation in Lebanon is a very real reflection for the situation in Gaza. We must admit that it is a multi-party military dispute. Of course, it began between Hamas and the Israeli troops, and of course it was extended to South Lebanon, and the troops of Hezbollah in this place participated in this fight, and we saw what results that we had, many bloodshed, as you say, and many people who was killed, even the leaders of Hezbollah in South Lebanon, many of them were killed and assassinated, and of course this cannot be organized far from the Israeli movements. So it's a result for what was in this military dispute between Hamas and Israel. On the other hand, the existence of the UNIFIL or the peacekeeping forces in Lebanon really is very essential, because outside these places of military fight or military dispute between Israel and Hezbollah, Lebanon is a country suffering from many political parties, many colonies of different political or religious belongings, and of course this is the great problem in Lebanon, and of course they always have many disputes and many arguments between them, and of course the existence of the military troops with Hezbollah makes these arguments can be raised to reach a military dispute between the sons of the same country. So having these UNIFIL troops in Lebanon is essential and is needed for the stability of this country. And of course, Lebanon, since the election and choosing their new president, they are working hard to keep this stability of the country, and of course with the interference of the military army in Lebanon to keep the security and stability of this country. But of course the aid or the help of the UNIFIL forces in Lebanon is very essential. So the existence of these troops in Lebanon serve in two sides. First one, the stability of this country, and on the other hand, to reduce the tension of the situation between Hezbollah and Israel in South Lebanon, especially with the existence of these armies with Hezbollah. Even there is no military disputes nowadays inside Lebanon or between Hezbollah and Israel.
Yes, one final question, Dr. Abu Zeid, and it is about Syria. Now, Syria is a country where Iran has, or at least it looks like, where Iran has totally lost its influence. Yet, we are seeing the Israeli aggressions on Syria day in and day out, despite the fact that there are reports of secret talks or talks or contacts between Israel and Syria. And in fact, you know, the Israeli prime minister, the war crime suspect, Netanyahu, said that Israel was engaged in talks aimed at demilitarizing South Syria. So Netanyahu is implicitly acknowledging for the first time contacts with the regime of Ahmad al-Shara in Syria. So Syria has very little Iranian or no Iranian influence. There are talks between Israel, between Tel Aviv and Damascus, yet Israel is hitting Syria day in and day out. What do you make of this?
According to the situation in Syria, we cannot say that this situation is a result of the military fight or military dispute between Israeli forces and Palestinian people with Hamas, or with the Israeli forces and Hezbollah in South Lebanon. The situation in Syria since the removal of President Bashar, and of course the existence of a new regime or new system of President Shara, this transformation in Syria made a very load on this country to even have an arm in this military dispute with Israel. On the other side, as you said, the beliefs or the ideology of the new regime in Syria, which is according to the Sunnah direction in Syria, of course, cancelled any existence or any influence for the Iranian arm in Syria, and the Shia or the support for the system of Alawiyin in Syria. All of this, we can say that it's finished nowadays. So, on the other hand, the existence of Israel in Syria is not related to the dispute with Hamas or with Palestinians. The Israeli existence in Syria, according to the very weak situation of this country for these political changes, and of course...
So can we say, sorry to interrupt you, Dr. Abu Zeid, but can we say that what Israel is doing inside Syria aims at dividing Syria, aims at controlling as-Suwayda and the Druze community in Syria, aims at enticing the Kurds to split from Syria? This is an Israeli attempt to divide Syria, to kill Syria, alongside the so-called Greater Israel dream. Can we say that? And if so, and if yes, what are we here in the region, the big countries in the region, supposed to do about this?
Of course, we cannot deny, since the first existence of Israeli troops in Golan since 1967, and the first aggression of the Israeli troops in the Syrian land, of course, there was an intention for Israel to enlarge and expand their space of country, even on the Syrian land. And of course, the extended expansion for this aggression nowadays, according to the reasons that we said, for the political changes, a weak country or a new country that cannot consider any disputes nowadays with Israeli troops, of course, it's a very good chance for the Israeli system or the Israeli regime to take more lands. And of course, according to the intentions that we said, the expansion of the Israeli land, any region or any land, even in Syria or any other country that can be invaded by the Israeli troops, can be under control of the Israeli troops, cannot be surrendered or cannot be left by the Israeli troops. So according to this, the great countries, as I said, in the Arabian region must take this consideration, the intention of the Israeli country to expand their aggression in more Arabian lands, and on the other hand to prevent more expansion, because the intention of the Israeli troops is very clear, according to the expansion of land and according to seizing any opportunity for weakness, for political changes, for any abnormal situations in any country, to put their hands on more lands and to make more Arabian countries under their control.
Okay, so I have to ask one more question then here. Is Israel taking a big risk through the Gaza plan? Israel wants to, of course, drive Palestinians out of Gaza, drive them south, drive them near the border with Egypt. So is Israel taking a risk with Egypt by doing that? And is Israel taking a risk with Turkey via its actions in Syria?
Maybe they can choose to have this risk. Not only to make negotiations or even to make disputes with these parties, Turkey or Egypt or any other countries, but according to the very hard situation that the Israeli government put themselves in. Of course, their image in front of their people and in their country is very bad, according to a very long military dispute that they entered, and there is no clear results till now can be counted to the part of the Israeli government. And of course, they are ready to do anything or to have any risk to assure a certain victory or to present a certain triumph in front of their people. So we cannot deny that they may have this risk or they may have any other chance to prove that they win this military fight and they can present a new result or a good result to give themselves a nicer or a very good image in front of their people.
All right, thank you very much, Dr. Moataz Abu Zeid, the professor of international law. Thank you for your time and thank you for your insight. And thank you, dear viewers, for staying with us in this special coverage of events of the Israeli aggressions here in the region. In less than 10 minutes, we'll be back here with our top stories on 9 TV International. Please stay with us.